Huh?
It doesn't even have a date on there.
Doesn't have a date?
Yeah, how can it not have a date?
I don't know.
That doesn't make sense, does it? Oh, wait, October 15th.
It's still waiting
2021.
for us.
October 15th, 2021. Ooh, is that? Yeah, that is all kind of
Okay.
goopy. Isn't
Yeah, it looks like we are live. We're
There we
yes,
go.
a little bit before schedule. Yeah, the lens is messed up. I got it. I did the best I could, but it had tape residue. Okay, I have to take
Crazy
this
hair.
off.
Yep.
Okay.
Off.
Having determined that the sound is in fact working, and the picture looks okay, it could be better, but anyway.
Oh, it's Ed. Ed Coops is here. Hi, Ed. Welcome.
Ed Coops. It's his fault.
Yeah, Ed.
It's all your fault, Ed. You did this. You're responsible. You're entirely responsible.
Yeah, Ed, you kind of kicked us in the butt again. I was just checking. October 15th last year was the last live stream that Chuck and I had done. So we needed to kind of get our butts in gear and get on board again. But it's been pretty darn difficult with our schedules. It's been kind of crazy around here.
Well, I'm looking at my notes that I made for this stream.
And clear.
And what I have in here is lame excuses and empty promises to open the video with.
Yeah, lame excuses.
Lame excuses and empty promises.
We've had a few of those, unfortunately.
Well, these glasses are dorky, aren't they?
Those are fine.
I have to wear them so I can see the computer and read, but
shoot. All right.
I don't need them for, ordinarily, I have 20/20 vision except for reading. So they kind of turned, when I had my surgery, they kind of turned the clock back about 30 years.
Well, we'll get into that in a few minutes. We're just kind of waiting. We were expecting to
start.
That's
part of the lame excuses.
12 o'clock. So we're hanging and waiting until some more folks join.
No, we're not waiting. They're supposed to be here. If they're late, it's their problem. It's not my problem.
Who are we, Chuck?
Huh?
Who are we? Where are we at?
Who are we?
What's going on?
Aloha, Lealea. Come on in and join us. This is Cruising Lealea. At this stage of the game, we're liveaboards in Port Townsend. Port Townsend. We were in Port Townsend, but now we're in Petersburg, Alaska. And we've been in Petersburg, Alaska for several years.
Since 2012.
Since 2012. Since 2012.
Rolled on in.
We rolled on in here just about this time of year, and liked it here. We tried to leave a couple of times in the summertime. We tried to take off and head south or just leave Petersburg, but we haven't been able to make it stick. We keep coming back here, and now we're pretty well stuck here, living aboard. And what's going on is, of course, we're well known for our sailing videos because we made a lot of them, 400 or so. And we rebuilt the boat, so we've done a lot of that stuff. But now we're doing something else. We used to joke that we're 15 years into our 5-year plan. And so the 5-year plan was sailing around for 5 years. That was it. We were going to leave Hawaii and sail around. Laura wanted to go back to Victoria. We did that. We cruised the San Juans. We explored and talked to other cruisers who told us to go visit Alaska before we packed it in. So, and we did the voyages that are on the YouTube channel, down the Pacific coast, back to Hawaii to Alaska, cruising around in Alaska, all that stuff. And overran our 5-year plan, and without even realizing it, did not ever move on to the next 5-year plan that we had in place.
Well, we had that plan in place, but that was Vermont. And things are changing on that front as well.
That was Vermont. We had this whole plan. We called it Starlight Farm, and we were going to take the boat somehow to the East Coast, which would be somewhere on the East Coast. We could have taken it anywhere. We could have wound up on Lake Champlain in Vermont or something like that. We owned that property. It's almost 40 acres, 38.7 acres on the Missisquoi River in northern Vermont, Orleans County. It's a beautiful place, dirt road, got 800 plus feet of river frontage on the Missisquoi River, nice trout streams, got woods, it's got pasture. would have made a perfect little horse farm for Laura, because that's what she wanted to do. And I wanted to sail, and she wanted to have a horse farm. And so we did my sailing, and we were going to go do the horse farm. But then Laura, one of the things that we did when we got here, we needed stuff to do in the wintertime. So Laura volunteered at the veterinary clinic here in Petersburg. And that's when the second 5-year plan started to unravel.
We got joining us, Cy Cursive. Hello, Ed is here. So thank you for joining us, Ed, and thanks for kicking us in the button and getting us back here. Oh, Santa Mulligan, hello, 9 o'clock in the UK, and Robert Anderson. I remember several years ago the talks about taking the boat to the East Coast.
Yeah, we were going to do that.
That was our full intention and plan.
So, yeah, you want to tell them what wound up happening?
What wound up happening is after I was volunteering at the vet clinic with Dr. Hill for a couple of years, saw some pretty substantial business opportunity.
She embarrassed him into putting her on the payroll.
To take care of the pets here in Petersburg. There weren't any facilities really or businesses oriented towards pet care. And with the facility, the building that Dr. Hill's clinic is in, it was just a gem in the rough. So anyway, saw the opportunity and took it. We purchased the building about a year and a half ago now.
It was
November.
Yeah, it was March of 2020.
And anyway, so the business has been growing quite well since then. And that is our 5-year plan at the moment. So this is a cruising kitty filling opportunity. So putting some money back in the kitty and developing a business. And of course, we own the real estate that we own the building
business
now.
is located in. Yeah.
And so it's just a good stopping point. And,
we have some challenges on the business front that we may discuss, but that's not part of cruising Lealea, is it? So that's something else that we probably want to talk over with y'all.
Still a little related because of the Halley.
A little bit, yeah, because of the Halley and because we're still in the water, and we weren't planning on being still in the water at this stage of the game. We planned on being farmers, but we're not. We're still sailors. We're living aboard on a sailboat and still taking opportunities to cruise Southeast Alaska.
Shane Rupert from York, Pennsylvania. Good to see you guys again.
York, PA, yeah. York, PA. So Starlight Farms, it's just a piece of land in northern Vermont, North Troy, to be specific, on River Road, halfway between Troy and North Troy, the two villages. Total population is under 1,000. I don't know what the total population of the two villages is.
We've owned that for
20 some years.
20 years.
And
by the way, everyone.
Hold on. Wait. Just hold on.
No, wait.
No, hold on. Let's finish the thought first, okay? Let's finish the thought. Anyway, that beautiful piece of property that, I was looking forward to, shooting deer from my front porch and catching fish in my own little beach shelter that I own on the river, and all that stuff. And Laura's, barn and all that stuff is out the window. We're selling the place. It was listed last week.
Yeah.
At with Rosemary there at I forget the name of the realty company, but they're in North Troy, Vermont. It's listed. So if anybody wants to relieve us of that, that's fine. And that's all we're going to say about that part.
Beautiful piece of property. It's the dreams that we had then are not
the dreams we have now.
And Vermont looked really good from Hawaii, but not so great from Alaska. So
people ask us about that sometimes.
Yeah.
But Vermont was so attractive when seen from Hawaii. We were working in Hawaii, both of us, and Laura wanted to buy property in Wyoming or Montana or something.
Yeah, I was thinking I was going to retire in Montana.
And I was thinking, back home to Vermont, where my roots are, where my, the remains of my family are, and nobody I know, but there's some people there back there. And when she said horses, well, of course, Vermont is famous for Morgan horses. And we went to Vermont and on a vacation, and we visited the Morgan horse farm and started looking at real estate.
Playing around, and we went back a couple of years in a row and spent a lot of time driving around and checking Vermont out from one side to the other. And
But once we came to
properties
Alaska,
and, yeah,
but once we came to Alaska, it was like meeting, meeting the younger, prettier sister of the girl you've been dating for a month.
hard to resist.
Yeah. It was really
Well, first, I'm sorry, folks. I'm going to interrupt again. Happy anniversary, darling.
Oh yeah, happy anniversary, sweetheart.
Where are you?
Mm. Today is our 23rd wedding anniversary.
Married in 1999.
1999, we were married by Captain Buzz Willabout. Captain, what's wrong? We were my mouth. Yeah. We were married by Captain Buzz Willauer aboard the four-masted full-rig ship Falls of Clyde in Honolulu Harbor. We're married on the quarterdeck.
Partied in the museum.
Partied in the museum. Had our reception in the Maritime Center at Honolulu, which at the time, Falls of Clyde was fully rigged.
Yeah, she was.
All four masts were up. The rigging was all up.
They were full bore into the renovation. It
They
looked
were
great.
fully into the renovations. They have since then downrigged the ship.
We have Rune Hansen. Hello from Norway. Good to see you. Rune, thanks for joining
And
us.
back at you from Alaska's Little Norway.
For Chuck, Linda. Hi, Linda. Hello from Holland. And thank you, Ed.
So now what's going on is that we're liveaboards. We have not quite completed the renovation of Lealea because those are the things that you just never completely finish working on a boat. I'm ready to start over again now.
Hardly.
Damn near. Ready to start over again. The redesign is ongoing. Before I even finish it, I've redesigned it.
Yeah, but every time you look at it, it gets the design in your mind gets simpler and simpler, which is probably just as well.
But make no mistake. We are not transitioning to a land-based lifestyle. Yeah. We're not buying a house to live in. We're not doing any of that stuff. We're taking on an entrepreneurial venture. Laura is mainly. I'm staying out of the way because she's better at it than I am. She knows more about the business than I do. But we're taking on that to top off the cruising kitty again. So, 5 to 15 years down the road.
Well,
we don't know.
That's the way it goes. You have to stop and work and,
we don't know.
Stuff done
but we love this little place we're in right now.
Well, it's made a good home base.
It's made a good home base. Petersburg is just a wonderful town. And I really need to stop going on about Petersburg because there have already
too many people moving here.
There have already been at least two couples have come to Petersburg and bought houses and made their new lives here and come to me and said,
it's our fault.
They saw our videos and decided on Petersburg.
That's okay.
And not all of them. Actually, there was a third one.
Like-minded people.
There was a third one. And I don't know. Those are people who have actually come here and bought houses and got jobs and decided to stay here. I don't know how many people are cruisers that I get stopped on the dock during the summertime. Hey, I saw your videos.
That's why we're here.
So, but the town isn't growing too much yet.
No, not yet.
So there's room for a few more, I suppose.
So, see, cruising season actually is coming to an end here pretty quick.
Oh, it's pretty well over.
Yeah, he should be rolling back into town here shortly.
Who's that old guy with the white beard and the black lab?
Mel. Well,
Mel. Yeah, Mel and
Duchess.
Mel and Duchess. Well, I gave Duchess a cookie the other day out here on
and she'll be showing
Chief
up
John Lott Street.
She'll be showing up at the door every
that's
morning.
That's the idea. I don't mind. But he asked me, he's got a boat down the Inside Passage down in Canada that's stranded
down there. He's needing somebody to bring it up.
He said, do you know anything about boats? I think is what he said. You know about boats, or you know about boats? I said, well, I know about my boat. Why? He needs someone to bring it up.
Yeah, I didn't even hear where it got stranded.
I wouldn't. It's a 38 or 40 foot motor launch.
Yeah. He
said cruise ship.
Cruise ship.
So he probably has multiple cabins in it. But anyway, it's a good sized motor yacht. I wouldn't dream of trying it by myself, and I don't know who I would get to help me at this point.
Well, I think they had engine problems.
It
so
had-
that's
He said it had the engine was all fixed and it's costing him 600 and something a month for
to keep
moorage
it
down there.
Oh, Mel.
Yeah. So anyway,
That's
the kind
not
of things we run into.
good. So if anybody wants to do a trip up the Inside Passage on a boat you don't know.
Oh, it's an old wooden boat, by the
Yeah.
way. This is an old wooden
Yeah.
power cruiser, I guess.
And let's see who else. Oh, Victor and Judy took off. They're in Norway, I think. Didn't they? Weren't they in Norway? They were heading off.
Iceland did, or had they been in Iceland?
Iceland, Norway, somewhere around
Italy? I don't
somewhere
know.
around there. And Chad and Carolyn are also
Chad and
off
Carolyn, sailing vessel Walk On. They have embarked on their
Worldwide tour.
round the world cruise. I think they're in the Bay Area right now and planning wisely to wait until summer before they leave.
Oh, absolutely. Hang and wait.
So we know how that goes. We did the same thing.
Yeah.
We weren't going around the world. We were just going around, sailing around.
And then, of course, that hurricane going on right now. Anybody out there seeing signs of that, or you living in that area where the hurricane's going? Let us know kind of what you're seeing. And of course, the KFSK fundraiser is coming up.
KFSK
next
fundraiser is the first week of October. It's
Was it in that paper?
that story.
Yeah.
I think that's 90% of the reason we're here today is because 2 weeks after we sailed into port and tied up in the North Harbor there, they had the KFSK radio annual membership drive potluck fundraiser. And we decided we'd go over there and meet some folks. And we went over there and we did. We met Dr. Ken Hill. We met Jeff and Suzanne.
Fuqua. Yeah.
I can't remember Robinson. I can't
Robinson,
remember
yeah.
Jeff's name.
Yeah,
I'm
Robinson
going,
and
it's Jeff and
Fuqua.
Suzanne Fuqua, but it's not. It's Jeff Robinson and
Robinson.
Suzanne Fuqua,
Yeah.
who are a cruising couple with a small family and a fishing boat, and it's one of those typical of this area. Literally, mom and pop and the kids fishing a commercial fishing operation, and their oldest daughter was graduating from the Coast Guard Academy.
Yeah.
And they wanted to go to the graduation. They asked us to come and house sit for them. And so we met them. And that set us up on this whole house sitting thing that we've done every winter since. And we also met Mindy Anderson, who at the time was an administrative worker at the radio station, and Tom Abbott, the station manager. And so that led to me volunteering for 5 years or so at the radio station.
I really wish you would start
on the
doing
air
a radio program again.
And I did the Aloha Friday radio program for years. And Mindy, of course, has opened the Salty Pantry, the best cafe in town, which is unfortunately only open for breakfast and lunch 5 days a week. But the only place worth buying, cooked food at. So in my opinion, there are other places. There are other places. It's just that I tend to get sick when I eat there.
You're being a snob.
And my doctor told me to stay away from it. So in my notes, I have local news. Do we want to talk about local news?
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on locally here. I have more also about us, but we've been talking about us a lot right now for the last few minutes, and I just thought I would bring out the local news. The big thing in the local news is politics, local politics.
That's big everywhere.
They're running for mayor, the city or borough assembly. On the front page of the Petersburg Pilot this week, a Petersburg couple celebrated their 75th wedding anniversary. They were married when the Lutheran church up on XL Street was brand spanking new.
Brand spanking new.
Brand spanking new.
Huh.
Llewellyn Swanson and Colleen McDonald stand together in the newly
75 years.
built.
Can you imagine? Can you?
What?
75 years?
You mean us?
Yeah.
That would be 52 more years. Sure, I can imagine it. I'd love to imagine it. I'd love to imagine.
Shoot.
Yesterday's news. Oh, there was nothing. Yesterday's
Oh,
news was just yesterday.
And there we go. That's
What?
funny. September 47. Miss Colleen McDonald, whose marriage to Llewellyn Swanson is to take place this week.
Yep.
Cool.
That's in the 75 years ago.
Yesterday's news, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, the mayoral candidates answering their questions. The letters to the editor is people patting each other on the back, and candidates for the borough assembly.
Yeah.
You should elect me because I'm a great guy. I'm a fisherman, or I'm this, I'm that, or I've been in government my whole life, and my family's been in government their whole lives. We're just a government family, and you need to elect me so I can stay in government. And the police report is more interesting, however.
Lots of bear sightings.
Lots of bears.
And they did manage to trap that
Again.
black wolf up the airport and relocate it.
Yeah.
I heard last week.
There were, I counted 2 weeks ago, there were 28 times somebody called the police about a bear.
Bear in town.
Now, if there were 28 people calling the police about bears, how many people were not bothering?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
There's a bear in the trash. Shoo, bear, go away. Get out of here, bear.
Yep.
So,
And not bothering.
yeah,
Oh.
not bothering to call.
Yeah.
So how many times did that happen?
But I haven't heard, they haven't had to dispose of any bears so far this year, which is good.
Nope. But the police responded to a report of a missing dog. Yeah. Bear. Who knows?
Bear.
Ah.
Oh, and there's a bear.
Yeah, Matt was issued, I'm not going to tell his last name, but his last name is in here. Matt was issued a citation for a driver's license violation. There was a report of a deer struck and killed on Midgolf Highway, but the deer was gone by the time the officers got there. And Patrick was given a summons for driving on a revoked license. Again, his full name is in here. And everybody knows who we're talking about. Found property was turned into the police department and recovered by the owner. Dangerous dogs.
We have to share your hearing aid story.
The hearing aid story? Oh, yeah. I lost one of my my government issued hearing aids a couple of weeks ago. And it was raining, and the batteries went dead, and I didn't have a little case with me. And so I pulled them out and I stuck them in my shirt pocket, along with my eyeglasses were in there too. And then I went, because now I know what happened, but I went here and there, ran some errands, and among them was the post office. And then I went home. When I got home, I would put fresh batteries in my hearing aids. I could pull them out, and only one of them was there.
Boo, boo, boo.
So I went back out in the rain. I'm out in the parking lot of the supermarket, crawling around on my hands and knees in the parking space where I was, under the car that's parked there now, and over to the post office doing the same thing. And I couldn't find them. And then a week later, I was walking in a store. I was in a store, and the clerk just said, "Oh, hey, blah, blah, blah." And I said, "What?" I said, "You have to forgive me. I lost one of my hearing aids." He goes, Oh, didn't you see in the Petersburg buy-sell trade on Facebook, there's someone found a hearing aid? I said, "No, I didn't see that." And the clerk goes, "Oh, here, I'll contact him for you." And he gets on his phone and then blah, 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 blah. I said, "Oh, yeah, okay." So next thing I know.
Who was it? Somebody called me or contacted me and said, I might be Chuck's hearing aid. I heard in town it might be Chuck's hearing aid. So I said, "Well, do you know who it is?" And they told me the name. It's like, "Well, that's a lady that I groom for. So I groom her dog, and they're coming in next week." So anyway, I contacted her, and she goes, "Oh yeah, I found him." I sent her a picture of his other one, and she sent a picture of the one they had, and sure enough, of course, they matched. And
yes, I have the left one. She had the right one.
Brought it over about an hour later. Only in a small town like this can you make something like that happen. It's just so freaking cool.
It's kind of stuff that happens here. It's kind of cool. One of the reasons we like Petersburg so much.
Yeah.
So
yes, indeed.
Yeah, but I am flying up to Anchorage in November because I didn't even know. I'm supposed
Well,
to
you've
go up
had
there
this-
every 5 years to get reevaluated and get new hearing aids.
Yeah, and you've had those ones for 10 years now.
Yeah,
so
I've had
they're
it for 10 years.
outdated and definitely overdue for a.
So, but all's well that ends well. I got the hearing aid back, and I'm able to,
Talk again.
talk
We can
here.
talk
I'm not
again.
wearing them right now because I had those headphones on. But there's no background noise, so I'm pretty much okay. Moose season. Moose season is open. I was wondering about that.
Yeah, there's already been a couple of illegals. Common Grounds has the tally sheet going and by the window.
Oh, they
there.
do your tally sheet, yeah.
Yeah, so all the different.
The coffee shop on the
areas.
road at one just before you get to 1 mile. There's a coffee
Yeah.
shop. Everybody drives in there and gets their coffee that's local roasted. It's roasted right here.
Yeah.
And so it's the best coffee in town.
Yeah.
And but everybody goes through there. So there's the moose hunt tally, of course, and probably the fish that we had an outstanding salmon season this year,
Bristol Bay was at
beating
its
all
finest.
expectations. One of our young friends made a boatload of money.
Captain.
Yeah.
This
So
is first year, second year with his own boat, and he did exceptionally well.
yeah, it looks like Kupanoff is the
Oh, they got the moose. Oh yeah,
yeah,
they do
that's
have
the moose harvest right
over
there with 10. They're
Not too
topping
many
the
yet.
list with 10. None on Mitkoff so far, and none on Wrangell.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Although I did see a pickup truck with a suspicious-looking antler sticking up out of the bed.
Suspicious looking.
Looked a little small. I don't know. So yeah, here's all the candidates, the usual suspects. Nobody, but just nobody knew.
Oh, and VA just gave me hearing aids that are rechargeable, and that's exactly why Chuck's going in to get the rechargeable ones.
Yeah.
Those little tiny batteries are just teeny tiny pain in the butt. You keep
Yep.
dropping them everywhere.
Sales. Everything's on sale because it's PFD week.
Yeah.
PFD week in Alaska is the week after the 20th when everybody gets their permanent fund dividend checks.
Which
And
every Alaska resident.
every Alaska resident, man, woman, and child, once you're qualified 1 year residency without leaving the state, you're entitled to get this permanent fund dividend check. And this year it was pretty big, although it was
Well,
only...
this year they didn't. It's been big every year, but they usually knock the payment back. They always have.
Yeah, the dividend's been big, but the legislature usually cuts it back. And this year they didn't cut it back as much as usual, so we're getting quite a lot of money.
What is it? And then there's the PFD, and then there's some sort of oil.
Yeah, there's also a
thing
federal
or something.
relief thing.
Yeah. So that was
Federal fuel relief or something like that amounts to a third or so.
Well, it's like
of that.
$600 for that.
Is it?
And then
Yeah.
with the PFD, it's like 32.
Yeah, but anyhow,
3,200 and
the
something
bottom
bucks.
line is
Crazy.
each Alaska resident gets $3,200 roughly,
Yeah.
32 and change. So
Which I had a family come in last week. They have 5 kids
Yeah.
and mom and dad. It's like, holy crap. He said he got home or woke up in the morning and checked his bank
$16,000 worth,
account,
yeah.
$16,000 sitting in his bank account. My goodness.
yeah, and it's odd. The town is awash in money, and every store in town has a 20% off sale. Every single store. Seems strange to me. You could do that before the PFD sale. Before the PFDs. Anyway. And jobs like everywhere else. There's all kinds of jobs. Everybody's screaming for workers. The foreclosure list of properties. And damage assessment.
And the whole hurricane.
The
thing
the
going
hurricane
on.
out in the Gulf of
Yeah.
Alaska.
Yeah, which my mom was extremely paranoid and really upset that we might be dealing with that. But
We got a little
as
rain, little wind. not
Usually
much.
it's way up north, mother.
Yeah.
It's like nowhere near
So
here.
the bad,
Yeah, so way far away.
the near-term stuff. So
Not too much. We've got a few folks with us. So we did talk last year about heading to Port Townsend, and I don't know if we're going to do that again this
next summer, well,
spring.
you have to get away,
Yeah,
or I have to get a crew.
I have to get away is what it is. But this will be next year. Will be year 3 in the business,
Mhm.
and I would doubt there's too many people in the first
We could get a
couple
crew
of
anyway.
year of business that could boot out and leave, but
We could get a crew anyway.
could we? Yeah. Well, we'll talk about it.
We'll think about it.
Tom Strawn had suggested he might be able to help, but this last year he I had some medical, so he wasn't able to join us.
Yeah.
But I hope we're going to be able to get to Port Townsend here, if not this next spring, then the following spring. And
Down the Inside
over.
Passage, I've wanted to take,
I
wanted
know.
you and I to
wanna
go down the Inside
I wanna
Passage
go
after
do
I
it
did
too,
that. So.
Yes. So
But-
we'd have to book out and plan at least 6
But that's
weeks.
6 months out. That's
Yeah.
next summer, May or June at the earliest.
Yeah.
For right now, as we began this live stream, lame excuses and empty promises aside, operating in retirement without a plan doesn't work well for me. Without imposing some structure on life.
Well, you
and
have
I've
to
been
have a
just kind
purpose in
of
life.
drifting around pointlessly, aimlessly for too long. So I've got this little space here that I can use. And I've got it organized into a little office. I've got a couple of computers and a couple of hard drives here that contain our
And here
the
being
sum total of Laura's video and photographic output over the last 16 years or so.
Yeah.
And
Going back through a lot of stuff. What we're going to be doing is uploading some re-edited product to Rumble.
I want to
and
polish.
Locals.
Yeah, we have the capability, and in fact, we have the capability to live stream simultaneously to multiple platforms.
Yeah.
Which means we can live stream, like some other live streamers are doing, live stream for a period of time publicly on YouTube, and then at the same time streaming on a subscription service like Patreon, or to the locals community or to Rumble. And we want to make our videos accessible. It's not so much that we want to make money, although that wouldn't be bad. Who doesn't like money? Come on, give me a break. I mean, I'm not going to overburden anybody with commercials and advertising, but the more people we can share this information with, the better I'll feel about it. Because if I ever mentioned it in an actual video before, but it's something I've lived by for a very long time, and I got it from Zig Ziglar long before I ever met you. Back in the 80s, for crying out loud, it was back in the 80s. And he said something that stuck with me the whole time. He says, you can have everything your heart desires if you'll just help enough other people get the things that they want. Yeah. So if we can help a few people get out there on the deep blue briny, if that's what their dream is, so much the better. If we can do it with this in this venue, that's great. If we can do something more personal, that's great too. Anything we can do to help other people get the things they want at this stage will help us get the things that we want. So to that end, I think we need to ask what you guys want to see on our channel. And maybe we have, it's possible we have another channel or two sitting in the wings that we can put other stuff on that's unrelated to living aboard in Southeast Alaska.
Well, the empty promises. I mean,
that falls into the empty promises.
Yeah, cooking Lealea, we've been playing with that forever, and it's just a matter of having the time with a business now to be able to put that together. But we got so much things we could do, and just figuring out what our focus is going to be at this point.
Yeah, well, I can go back and polish up some of our sailing videos. There's a lot of lessons learned that we did not extract and identify at the time we learned them.
Yeah.
We just presented them. Here we are. We're out there, and here's what we're doing. And you can figure out the lessons we learned on your own by watching those videos. I could go back and polish some of those videos. A lot of them look a little rough. A lot of them have too much music over top of the important stuff, the sounds that you really want to hear.
Yeah, but your editing skills have.
My editing has improved over the last 15 years.
Surprise! We first started putting and the software that we had.
And the software and the hardware are both more sophisticated, and The software is annoyingly more sophisticated. The software we're using right now to do this live stream is Vegas Pro 17.
Yeah.
And the software on the new Lenovo computer that's over here is Vegas Pro 20. Vegas Pro 20.
Yeah.
The other software that I was trying to use was Movie Studio 2023, and it just didn't have the live stream capability at all. So Vegas Stream is what we're using, and Vegas Stream has the capability to do all kinds of cool stuff. Maybe we'll just keep it simple. Maybe we'll add in a few little things. We can do frame in frame and things like that. But I'm going to experiment with it. I have the time. I'm going to use the time.
Yeah.
Got all winter.
Time
We're
and
not
space.
going anywhere.
Yeah.
So you can expect to see me experimenting. I don't know if it's going to be all that beneficial. I will try. I will try to make every video that we upload of some value to you, even if it's just pure entertainment or something soothing like Laura's captured moments, which I enjoy. They should be longer. You can put them on a loop.
Put them on a loop. I'm going to go pour some more coffee. My cup is
There's
empty.
some more coffee?
Folks, I'll be right back. I'm going to go pour some more coffee.
Okay, here. Things I've been thinking about doing myself, possibly on this channel, possibly on one of my other channel. I've been learning a lot about. Well, I learned a lot about sailing by doing it. When we started sailing, there wasn't much of a YouTube presence. Now there's lots of people out there doing it. You can watch them, give you advice and all that stuff, or you can see us make our mistakes. So we just had to go out there and do it and figure it out. And, of course, there's books, the books by the Hiscocks and Joshua Slocum and
yeah, all the old classics.
All the old Lynn and Larry Pardee, whose motto we have followed religiously: go simple, go small, go now, because we watched people trying to go big and complicated and not going at all.
I can't leave until I get that.
I can't leave until, there's a new upgrade. Oh, shoot.
It's coming out in another 2 months. I better wait.
There's some new piece of gear or something like that. Tristan Jones was always a favorite of mine. But Tristan Jones would be making videos if he were still around, but he's not, and he didn't. You have to read his books and glean what you can from them. So I think maybe we're carrying on in the tradition of those folks, but showing it in video form. And I can go back and polish up those videos and extract the nuggets of information, I think, and sort of distill that down into something more of a learning tool than just our diary, which is what that was. It was just to share with the family what we were doing, and then more and more people piled on, and we reacted to that.
Sorry, watch it. Another thing that kind of
write a book.
Long-term sort of thing is the Vega Westbound.
Vega Westbound. See, you so much onto that. You do it.
I know. So if you get a chance, that's on our YouTube channel, isn't it? Vega Westbound.
Vega Westbound is on our YouTube channel. It's a hoot. It's a hoot, all right. My version of that is Willy Watt Down the Inside Passage.
Yeah.
That was a hoot. That was a lot of fun, and a huge learning experience thanks to Captain Gary Harold, who was with us the first half of the voyage. Learned a lot from him. And then it's sort of like here's the lesson, now do the work kind of thing. Yeah, learned a lot on that trip. Learned a whole lot on that trip. Oh, and JT, write a book. Write a book, he says.
Well, actually,
I may, because here's the thing. Back when Laura and I first started dating, we were running with another couple,
Gail and Mike,
who also worked at the place we worked at. And Gail came up with this idea of going off to see a local fortune teller who was famous, well, locally famous. And she's so wonderful. Oh, she's done my whole family. We ought to go. I'm going, yeah, right. Fortune telling. So we went down to see this Vietnamese fortune teller in Chinatown in Honolulu.
Yeah.
Four of us went down. Her name's Lon. And she said all kinds of interesting stuff, which,
At that time, didn't make a whole. Some of
it didn't make any sense at all to me from the beginning, from the time I walked in there and talked to her until the time I walked out. That's bullshit. Sorry. But I was disabused of that notion about 30 seconds after I got outside, and I was laughing, and Laura and Gail said, well, what did they say? What did she say? And I said, that's all just BS. I said, she said, I'm dating an Asian girl. And of course, I'm dating Laura.
Well,
I'm dating Laura Cohn.
Yeah, at that time I had a different last name. Chuck had no idea.
So they burst out laughing because Laura and Gail both knew. And I guess Mike knew also, but I didn't know that Laura's maiden name was Wong.
Yep.
I had no clue.
No clue. Yeah, I'm gonna marry some Asian girl.
But there's a whole bunch of other stuff that she said 25 years ago, I guess it was. And dang, if all of it hasn't come true except for that.
Yeah,
write the book.
Write the book. She did say,
she said
Chuck was going to write
I'm going to write a book. And I have always assumed, I mean, over the last 10 years anyway, that, well, the internet didn't exist back then, certainly not YouTube. So she was just, what she was projecting was, I'm going to make these YouTube videos and I'm going to connect with a lot of people. And that's what she was.
Well, we kind of looked at the website really with the articles.
Or the website.
And I guess, JT, if you haven't been on cruisinglealea.com, we have a tremendous amount of writing.
Well, most of the writing,
there.
I wrote all of that, except for what is specifically credited to Laura. And there's lots of essays that I
we
wrote.
Could theoretically put together as a book.
I think I rewrite them because I'm a better writer now than I was then too.
But a good friend of ours here has Orrin
Peterson,
finished,
who I met when I was volunteering at the radio station.
Yeah.
Pearson, not Peterson. I keep saying Peterson. It's Pearson, another Scandinavian guy. Surprise, surprise. But he was working at the radio station. He took Mindy's place, Mindy, who opened the Salty Pantry across the street. Yeah. Orrin Peterson took over that job.
Purchased the Petersburg
and
Pilot.
He has subsequently purchased the Petersburg Pilot newspaper from which we read.
Yeah.
And he is now the editor and publisher of the Petersburg Pilot.
And he's been doing some writing classes, and I think it'd be beneficial for you to kind of.
I read his editorial. His editorial in last week's paper is actually grammatically correct.
Oh, Rhett. Is that Rhett Calkins? R.H. Calkins? Is that Rhett? You got my attention sailing. Now I just appreciate you both as real people living a unique life and sharing a bit of it on YouTube. Thanks for all you have shared over years. Thank you very much. Yeah, I just got to say we've had nothing but fun in this whole adventure. And
what's life for if not to have fun? I mean, go simple, go small, go now means that, going simple and going small, live small, but that doesn't mean that you have a small life. Yeah. Living small means that you're not wasting your personal resources on meaningless acquisitions.
Stuff that don't matter.
How big of a living space do you really need? Well, we've been living on a 27-foot boat for 32 years. Or I've been living on it for 32 years. Laura's been on it for 26 years.
Yeah.
And you have a place to sleep, a place to cook, a place to wash and clean,
and hang out,
a place to sit and hang out.
What more do you need?
What more do you need? In a place to live.
Besides a roof to clean and a lawn to cut and a garage to clean and
a garage to store all your stuff in. You can get up and get out. So get out and go do things. And if you don't like your environment, in our case anyway, You just move it someplace else.
Well, that has always been, and we've had to do that too a couple of times. You don't like the neighbors, you just untie the lines and move.
It's been pretty wonderful every place we've been.
And
Things I
yes,
wanted to
it was
cover.
red.
Where are we? Unfortunately, I have to leave. Well,
My tummy is growling. I hope we meet and you sail to Alaska in 2023. Thanks for sharing your wonderful adventures. We'll go grab some lunch.
Petersburg's North Harbor. We'll be there, and
We'll see you hopefully back here next weekend.
over here on Lealea. If it's next year, we'll probably have a little cruiser services office going.
So there has been some changes here at this facility, the annex.
Yeah.
Petersburg Pet Center. I did have to pull out the pet center out of this facility about 4 or 5 months ago now.
Okay.
One of my girls quit. Moved away from the clinic, and I just didn't have time to dedicate to keep this going as a retail facility. So we basically changed focus and are going to use this as kind of personal space, office space. There's a shower here, so Chuck's been coming and showering here rather than spending 20. How much do you spend at the shower?
$2. It's $2 for 7 minutes. No, it's $2 for 7 minutes.
$2 for 7 minutes. So been saving us a little bit of cash for the showers. And
a little more privacy. You don't have someone banging on the door. Hey, hurry up in there. So, I mean, you know, the shower at the North Harbor here is one of the best.
Yeah.
In any public shower we've been at, in any harbor we've been in.
Yeah.
Okay, but anytime you can get away from the public showers, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we have that here. I have that going for me. It's a nice little place to hang out during the daytime.
Eventually, if things keep on track the way they are, I'm going to make some changes here. The idea is, the kind of idea and focus now is just if we meet some cruisers, they come into Petersburg, we can offer this space to catch up on internet, kind of hang out a little bit, maybe have a shower. I'd really like to get a washer.
I don't know about
that.
We have to do some remodeling before we can make that shower available. But there's a nice living room kind of area that's got a leather couch, and we can put some chairs and a big screen TV, and it's a place to hang out when the weather's bad and you don't want to just stay sitting on your boat all the time.
And it's right across the
street. And there's high-speed Wi-Fi, and it's right across the street from the liquor store and bar and Nindy's.
Yeah.
So the best food in town, the liquor store, the bar, high-speed Wi-Fi. It's an attractive place for people who spend a lot of time on their boats.
And it's fun sitting here during the day and people watching.
People watching across watch the people watch over there.
Yeah.
But my idea is to provide some form of cruiser services. You know, people want to know what's going on around town, and
where to go to get what,
where to go to get what, you know, there's always people who want a mail drop and don't want to walk the mile uphill to the post office to drop mail, because it's the only place you can do it. Some retail services here, some pickup and drop off services here for pet owners on boats, or just one of the guys from Keto's asked me for some pet cat food. Cat food. So I had Laura drop it off here, and I sold it to him here because we still have point of sale capability here. So we may have some retail capability here, but mainly it's aimed at people who are in the harbor, and that's about it. Another project I have that's more of interest to our subscribers is the logbook, meaning our Lealea's logbook, the logbook that we keep for Lealea. It's a mess now.
Is it?
It's kind of a mess. I went into it yesterday. The expenditures are not in chronological order. The last couple of times we went to the boat yard, it's not completely filled in. The receipts are stuck in there. Yeah.
You're getting a little behind on your bookkeeping.
Yeah, and so I got this new little hobby of fountain pens. I've got a couple of nice fountain pens, and I was thinking, well, this may be an opportunity to transcribe the logbook.
And maybe start doing
making
a
video about the logbook and how we actually use the logbook for engine maintenance, boat maintenance, and our travels, and as a journal and as a place to keep information. Maybe that'll be helpful to people. There's no legal requirement to have a logbook on a yacht, a pleasure craft. It's very helpful and highly recommended that you keep an engine log so that you keep track of all your filters and oil changes and maintenances and what size and type of filter and oil and lubricants and all that other stuff that you need.
And zincs.
And zincs.
We had a diver down on the boat a couple of days ago.
Having a diver, if you're not hauling out every year, and we don't, usually 3 to 4 years between haul outs, you have to have someone get down in the water and check the bottom. Maybe wipe off some scum or some growth if it's getting bad, and perhaps change the zinc anode. On a Vega, it's on the end of the prop shaft, just a small one, and usually has to be changed once a year. So in Hawaii, no big deal. For $25, the guy would show up with mast fins and snorkel.
It was $1 a foot, right?
Yeah, $1 a foot,
yeah.
and
water line.
Yeah, $1 a foot at the water line. For us, it was $23, 23 feet, and the guy would just round off, or I would round off to $25. Anyway, $25. He'd jump in the water, quick wipe around the water line, change the zinc, jump back out again, and be gone. Here,
not so much.
The diver has to show up with a big cart full of equipment. He's wearing a dry suit. He's all geared up. It takes him, if he's not wearing his suit, it's going to take him a half an hour, 45 minutes to get geared up, to get ready to get into the water. And then when he gets out of the water, he has to do all the recovery of that gear, because you can't just jump in this water here in Alaska. So
how much did that cost anyway? The last.
He gave me a break because he had 2 boats to do.
Yeah. So
and the other boat was right next to our boat, and it was an emergency. Some cruising yacht had fouled their prop.
Oh.
And so and Chloe put him right next to our boat. So he gave me a break. He charged only $200.
That's pretty good.
And normally $350. If he just had to come and do our boat, $350 for that.
Boy, long way from $25.
We're a long way from Hawaii, and I'll take it. I'll take that as a trade-off. I will absolutely take that.
Well, it's either that or head to Wrangell and haul out.
Head to Wrangell and haul out. That would cost us, I don't know, $500 probably, but it would, be fun.
Let's see some comments. Caribou Dave Adventure, just stopping by. Hello from the Mohican River Valley in Londonville, Ohio.
I have a couple of ex-girlfriends in Ohio.
Oh, do you know?
Yeah, I do.
And then how's the remodel and refit holding up?
Well, we've been living aboard. Yeah, the only thing that's left is some of the furniture on the port side, the dinette, which we never really use anyway. It's just
storage.
There's lockers there.
Yeah, it's
and
just
there's seats. If we had somebody over on the boat, okay, there's room for 4 people to sit without, sitting all next to each other on the settee. But we don't normally use it. Never have really used it for that purpose. So
mostly just storage.
Yeah. So now what we've got is like the IKEA furniture kit, all the lumber cut and just sitting down there under the table. The table's in place, the back's in place, and just bare hull under that, because I keep changing what I want to do with that.
That's okay, because over the last several years, the design for that area has gotten from really nice but pretty complicated to
much simpler.
Pretty nice but a little simpler, and now it's pretty nice but way simpler.
Way simpler.
So
way simpler because of the way we use it. So we've adapted this boat so much. It's not, the hull is an Albin Vega 27, but and the mast and boom, stern rail, a couple of pieces of interior trim that we just saved just because we wanted to keep some of the original.
I'm trying to think of all the original pieces on there. The step coming in is original. The front is not. But the step itself is. The
little step where you step down
Yeah.
on? No, that's not. Remember Benna stepped through that in Port Townsend, he broke it.
Yeah, that was the front piece with that step, but the very top step.
Oh
was
yeah, the
original.
top step.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, there's a
Yeah.
couple of pieces of original original lumber on the inside of the boat, but not much. And everything on the outside of the boat has been replaced. Everything. So except for the
Let's see.
winches and the rig.
It's asking any issues with electrolysis in your marina.
Not really.
Not now. There used to be actually when we first got there.
Well, they
but
replaced the whole harbor.
Replaced the whole.
They
All
replaced
the
all the docks
system.
and all the electrical system in the harbor about 6 years,
But
7 years ago.
First couple of years we were here, we had somebody next to us that was running a car charger with a regular electrical cord, and we had some pretty bad electrolysis then. But they have all the new high tech electrical posts. And they've got readers. They have people come in and read in their harbor.
Yes, metered electricity in the harbor.
Regular basis, and they'll go after any boats that have over a certain level of bleed.
Yeah, they can tell who's leaking and who's not leaking.
Yeah. So, and you said our zinc this time had only about a quarter or about 30% wear or something. It wasn't very much. I was kind of surprised.
What?
The zinc.
Oh yeah, it was about it was maybe 30-40% gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was okay.
Yeah, pretty clean.
So interesting to have a tour of Lealea and the changes that you made. Didn't we do a video of that?
We haven't really yet because we were planning on doing it when we finished.
Most of it is pretty much the same as it was before. Yeah, no, it's not actually, because we replaced a lot of the plywood with solid sapelli lumber, and it's beautiful.
Let's see.
But I thought we showed with how we did the cushions and the ceiling on the port side there, where we
yeah, we did.
Or the starboard side there, and we showed everything except the unfinished part, I believe. Yeah. But we can do that. It's something. It gives me an idea of something to make a video, and that's what I'm looking for.
I've spent a long time trying to find that bucket hat like yours from West Marine and old videos. Apparently not made anymore. But
it's from
several.
Watership Trading Company. I bought it at West Marine in Seattle in '99, I believe, just before we got on the Endeavor. And I wore it until 3 or 4 summers ago. I wore that sucker for 20 years.
But Watership Trading, you said?
Watership Trading Company. And I don't think they do make that exact hat anymore, because mine was kind of stiff and would hold a shape. And all the ones I've seen, they're the same design.
They're floppy.
They're floppy.
Yeah.
So, and I had to throw that away because it literally just rotted. I mean, you throw it in the washing machine, and we washed it several times, but eventually it just rotted.
And Ed is asking, did you upgrade your solar panels? Not
yet.
We're waiting.
Not yet, because
technology is changing at a pretty rapid rate.
We can't make too much use of the solar panels right now, and I think that I would certainly buy them before we took off on a major crossing, but I don't have any major crossings planned. I'm going to take another look at the technology, because in the summertime here in Alaska, we can certainly use them, get a lot of sunlight.
A lot of sun.
So the technology is moving forward so fast. I'm waiting until the last minute. Basically, that's it. The only thing I'm concerned with is fitting the mounts that we have.
All right, and it would be interesting to have a tour of Lealea and the changes that you've made. Well, kitchen the kitchen, we've got to get that countertop done. I think I know what I want to do with that.
The kitchen countertop, that's
yeah.
And the hatches.
Well, we finally found the hardware.
found the flipping hardware.
Hardware's been missing for about 2 years.
2 years. I don't know how long that stuff's been missing, but there was a trim piece in the pantry behind the cook stove.
Yeah.
That was
kind of propped up.
It could be screwed up there, but for some reason, instead of screwing it up there, it just got put this container here and this container there, and then
things get
spices and jars of stuff get put in front of it, and it's up, blah 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 blah.
And we've been looking for that stinking hardware.
And where the heck is that hardware? Did I put it in the storage locker? I tore the storage locker apart for it. Oh, is it down in the lockers in the cockpit? I tore the cockpit lockers apart. I tore under the bunk. I looked everywhere except in the pantry. And then
except in the pantry.
I was taking stuff out of the pantry looking for a jar of a specific spice. I can't remember exactly what, but
And you found the hardware.
And I said, oh, look at
The
that
hole.
jar. Is that jar holding up that? How long has that been in there? I pull that thing out of there and hey!
Oh, shoot.
So I found that hardware, and now all it remains is to decide, should we go ahead and put those hatches on while we're still in port this winter,
Yeah.
or wait until summertime to put the starboard side hatch on, because we're coming and going out of that hatch all the time, and it's going to get that wear.
Well, we're going to be bringing everything over here, because right now it's just got the
yeah, it's just got glass and resin on
yeah,
top.
so it needs to
The
get
epoxy
sanded
resin.
and start taping it and putting the non-skid on. And
Yeah,
getting it all prepped.
we did a video on that process
A long time
a
ago.
long when we were in Friday Harbor.
Friday Harbor. Yep.
We're in Friday Harbor. There's a video on how we did the non-skid on the hatches.
Yeah.
That shows indeed. We had another house sitting gig in Friday Harbor. The guy had a beautiful workshop. We took advantage of it.
Yeah.
And made new hatches for the. Or did we refinish? We didn't make new ones at that time. We refinished the ones we had.
Yeah.
And it's the same process as these, except the new ones are glassed and the old ones were just varnished.
Yeah, and I know these ones are going to last way longer now.
Probably last longer than I will.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Caribou Dave, I know your varnish work was impeccable. Thank you. Worked hard at it.
Ed's got some great solar mounts. Have you seen the solar mounts that we have? Well, of course you've seen them. The ones we have are for 2 square panels. But the neat thing about them is they put the solar panels back off the stern, and the panels are light and efficient enough that they worked for us.
And Ed says I've got some great solar
Yeah.
mounts.
Send us the info.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
We actually really like the mounts that we have. We haven't seen any mounts like that anywhere else. Actually, we got those at West Marine before we left Honolulu.
Yeah, and then we
stern
replaced
rail.
one of them.
Yeah,
We
the stern
replaced
rail
one of
mounts.
them in replaced one of them in Port Townsend.
Port Townsend. Yeah, but the stern mounts for those solar panels, I really like those.
The mounts are really cool. If you get one long panel and use both mounts, that would be all right. That would be good. That would probably be the best. Probably
Yeah,
most
give
efficient.
us more space.
But at the time, this is a long time ago. It was 15 years ago we set this up. 16 years ago we set that up. At the time, you had to avoid the shadows going on the solar panels. It would reduce the efficiency so much. You really had to avoid. So you couldn't put them all like on the cabin top or on top of the Dodger or anything like that. You'd lose too much efficiency. But I know this technology has improved a lot. Check out Patrick's solar mounts. Okay.
Patrick's solar mounts, and the brand name is Patrick's.
We'll check those out for sure. Because that would extend. We have to get out of port first, but even if we're just going to cruise Southeast Alaska, which I have every intention of doing, that would, of course, solar panels make you that much more independent.
Yeah.
When you're out here and you don't have to run the engine all the time. You don't have to run the engine in an anchorage to generate electricity for whatever you may need it for. Don't need near as much when you're, for some reason, you don't need near as much electricity when you're disconnected. No place to plug the heaters in.
Well, darling, it is 1 o'clock.
It's 1 o'clock. Is it time for us to say aloha?
I think it is time for
Thank you.
us to let everyone get on
Like the
their,
mugs.
get about their day. Thank you for joining us for coffee. We're going to make this a regular thing Sunday.
We're going to
afternoons.
make this a regular thing. Let us know in the comments, please. We love the comments. I will try to answer all of them. Let us know if what kind of schedule would work best for the most. We want to know how we can get the biggest audience by scheduling. Sunday afternoon just happened right now. Laura could make it.
Well, I think
I
Sundays
wanted
are-
to do it.
Yeah,
So
during the week is so difficult nowadays.
I liked
We're so
Friday
busy at
because I could
clinic.
play the Aloha Friday song.
Yep.
But I can make a Friday program that's a podcast.
Well, we did actually record something a couple of nights ago.
That was
We're gonna be
to
putting together.
experiment with the multicam capabilities, and I'll put that together. We did a lot of talking, covered a lot of the same stuff we covered today,
And a lot of different stuff too.
and a lot of different stuff as well. So still trying to
we're-
figure out the editing software that I was battling with last week. I was trying to get that video up this past Monday so that it would be a lead into this live stream,
Yeah.
which doesn't require any editing or too much.
Yeah.
And then I wound up getting tangled up in the octopus of software
updates and
software
nightmares
updates and operating systems and weird stuff like that. So, but I'll figure it out. I know I'm a boomer, but I will figure it out.
just takes a while.
I'm not that confused about it. You know, someone said, get a 15-year-old. No. I can do
He's
this.
power director. All right, folks, I think we're going to head out. Ed, we'd love to see some pictures. I'm going to do some research on that.
I was going to
Patrick's
go.
solar
You're going to go
mounts.
back to work?
Yeah, I'm going to go feed Charlie and
Okay.
get some paperwork done at the clinic. And everyone have a beautiful week. And plan is we will join you about this time next week as well.
Yes, mahalo nui loa for everyone for coming down and listening to us chatter away about our lives. And we'd like to know input. We'd like your input about what you'd like to see from us in the future, because we've got a lot of stuff to present, a lot of stuff to share. We think we have gathered some information that you may find valuable, and we'd like to share it all with you. But so meanwhile, aloha no kako ahui ho. Aloha indeed to all of us and all of you until we meet again.
Bye, guys. Have a good one.
How long is this going to take? Oh, no. Your stream will end. Yes, we want it to end. End now. Goodbye. Please.